Hello and welcome. Before the video starts, I would like to disclose something. I look at these builds more like a starting point rather than a finishing build, because I believe that the fun part of the game is to create your own build and see how far you can get. So this is more like a guide rather than an end-all be-all. So just most of what your build can do comes from your mods and attributes, not so much the rarity. So don't be discouraged if you see a legendary in a slot that you don't have a legendary. I'll try to tell you what's most important in that slot, so if I don't actually say anything about it in the video, write it down in the comments saying, hey, you didn't say an alt for this slot, or what if I don't have this attribute, and so on. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say, and thank you for clicking on the video. Hello and welcome to Low Action Gamers. I'm Tem353, and today we'll be looking at Slagathor's Technomancer build, the Plague Doctor. This build is centered around tanking rather than raw damage. Our first skill is Cryo Turret. Our second one is Blighted Rounds, and the third one is Blighted Turret. Moving on to our class perks, we went down half of Tech Shaman and half of Pestilence. We grabbed the main perks: Exposing Toxin, Wipeout, Blur Screen, Assault Master, Two Sides of the Power, UT-14 Clips, and Empowering Antenna. Our main hand weapon should be an assault rifle of some kind with crit damage and skills life leech, with a toxic bullet mod and a mod that deals damage. Our second weapon should be a low ammo count weapon with the attribute healing received and the mod clip roller. Our sidearms shouldn't really matter, but having skills life leech or healing received isn't a bad idea. Moving on to our armors, we should be looking for the attributes bonus firepower or anomaly power, cooldown reduction, and status power. For our specific piece mods, our helmet should have Toxic Piercer and Move Groove, our chest piece should have To the Bone and Crit Stack, our pants should have Med Burst and Rejuvenation, our gloves should have Toxic Lead and Radical Therapy, and our boots should have Perseverance Shield and Emergency Stance. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the nitty-gritty. And like I said before, the Plague Doctor is more of a tanking build rather than a raw damage build. You're supposed to immediately throw out your skills, put on Blighted Rounds, and just watch your health continually recharge. When looking for weapons, you want to keep in mind crit damage, status power, and skills life leech. You can also go with weapon life leech or healing receipt, but you can also go down armor pierce if nothing else is found. This build never really cares about accuracy, because most of the time it's just your skills that are going to heal you, so you gotta make sure that your turrets are off cooldown and on the field. So you gotta keep in mind tactical positions for your turrets to make sure that they get the most out of their heal. If you don't have any legendaries and are stuck with purples, the mod To the Bone can be changed with Critical Analysis. If you don't have the mod Med Burst, you can change it to Even Odds or Ice Pack. And if you don't have Toxic Lead, you can change it for Trick Up the Sleeve. And we have a low ammo count weapon because with Clip Roller, it'll reload your main weapon way faster than if you just did it normally. This build is a very mid-range build. It can do long range because my secondary weapon is a sniper, so that doesn't really count, but this build has a natural panic button, so if anything really gets close to you or if you get overwhelmed, the regeneration of this build is tremendous. With the Technomancer's consistent heal, the skill leech, and the regeneration you get from your turret, and adding blight to everything really keeps you alive. I'm going to try to head right into the fray in the challenge tier 8 just to show you how well this build can actually recharge. My gripes with the build is probably damage. This build was done after the Blighted Rounds nerf, so it's not doing as much damage as it has been before, but it does help quite a bit for putting Toxic and Blight on the enemies. It's not to say that the build can't do high challenge tiers, but you really need a person with you in order to take care of most of the enemies. The armor rating of the build is something to be desired, but with Perseverance and Golem, it kind of takes care of that problem. And please keep in mind that you're not invincible. You do regenerate a lot, which makes you practically invincible, But if you get one of those one-shot people, you'll have a slightly bad time, but you just gotta make sure that you focus them. So this will include like heavy bosses like Dr. Detonator and the Broodmother, or smaller people like the Marksman, Spotters, people like that. Not so much Breachers though, even though they have a close-range shotgun, which is kinda interesting. Which makes you wonder if it's like a single shot, or if it's actually like pellet form. I am going to skip to the end to show you how boss fights go, and it's pretty much like everything else. Nice, slow, steady, and you just keep recharging your health. You know, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. There's no like multi-step combo to keep yourself alive. You just keep on shooting. Should have called the build Rolling Shooty Man, but Plague Doctor sounds a lot better. That's pretty much it. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next 10353 takeover. This microphone has room ambience. I'm over here. No.